So the fact that, again, my glasses are the culprit into my not seeing well is the biggest of my issues today. What up, Search fam? Sharde here. Welcome back to the channel. If you are new, my name is Sharde. I'm out here curating and co-creating a cool ass life where I tell you about my books. And we're doing another singular book review. I'm trying, y'all. I am doing my best to do the work, okay? Now, whether you are new and this is your first time coming across my little corner of the internet, or you keep coming back, but you haven't hit the subscribe button, mon ami. Okay, so please, why not? Because you should join my internet family. We could be cousins and continue to talk about books and travel and being a creative in the year of our Lord 2025, which is the year of the dumpster fire, apparently. Anyway, we're talking about This Ravenous Fate, which I just finished a few days ago. And if you watched my Sinners book recommendations, Sinners-esque book recommendations, then you will have heard that I mentioned this and I said that I had not read it. It was on my TBR. Well, I did read it and I'm going to tell you about it. I can tell you off the top, we can go on a spoiler alert right now. I liked it pretty well. You know, I might suggest it as a read. But also, spoiler alert, it ends in a cliffhanger. So there is a second book and I think it comes out maybe this year. But this is an interesting book, especially when I think about it in light of the Sinners, because it takes place in and around the same time period, but in Harlem as opposed to the Mississippi Delta. So this is set in 1926 and vampires are amok in New York, and they're called reapers, which like that sort of that terminology continued to throw me for a loop because I have a different concept of what a reaper might be, but here nor there. And so this is about Elise Saint, who is one of the middle child to the Saint family that is at the sort of forefront of the sort of crusade to control the Reaper population, the vampire population. And so this is framed by the death of Elise's oldest sister, who was supposed to be the heir to the Saint Empire. Now, the Saints produce steel, and particularly a steel bullet that works against the Reapers. Pin in that. Now, Elise, because she was there, her sister pretty much was killed by these Reapers, and she attempted to save her sister, her younger sister, right? So after that, she was like attacked a couple of times, including by her best friend, Layla Quinn, who was turned into a Reaper when they were like, I think 16, 17 years old. And this is, the book is set 10 years later. Okay. So Elise, her father sends her off to France. She's a pianist. She sends her off to get this wonderful education, and she's like she got accepted to the Paris Conservatory. That was supposed to be her job, right? And now she also has a younger sister who's like 10, and she comes back home to celebrate like 10 years of the Saints, crusading against these Reapers and their successes and da-da-da-da-da. Come to find out, the deity is like, you know what? I'm going to make Josie, the youngest sister, again, who's 10, the heir to the Saint Empire. She's going to start training and stuff like that. And so Elise, who's now, how old is she now? I think she's like 20. I don't know how much, maybe 17. It's a YA novel. I don't know. They young. And she comes back and she's just like, you gonna do what to who? And so she's like, no, I'm a be the heir. And and her father is ew. But her father's like, you got to prove it to me. And so there are people continuing to die. And so Layla, who lives in a coven or community or whatever of vampires, with like one of the oldest vampires in the world, and she discovers on a boy who comes to her. He's a newly turned Reaper, and she tries to get him to come with her, and he's like, no. And so he goes to this lab that's advertising that they've found a cure for vampirism, and it's run by I think the mayor, the soon-to-be mayor, or some like rich white person that the Saint's daddy is in bed with, and one of Elise's old friends is one of the scientists that are working with it, who is just picking up the work of her mother, who was actually shamed and turned out for her potential cure for vampirism that had gone wrong years ago. And she was sort of alienated from the community and like all of that. Anyway, so something seems wrong with the cure, and like there are people like there's no cure for Reaperhood and all this stuff, and like that people are coming out. Anywho, Layla, later, Layla's friend, who's the scientist and one of the drivers, are supposed to be meeting Layla and her male best friend, who's also one like kind of adopted by the Saints, but also works as security and has like high up and trusted with the family and all the things, you know. So they are supposed to be celebrating and going out for to celebrate this potential cure and like all of the work, da 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 da. And so Elise pretty much comes up on them having been attacked. Layla is found with the bodies of the driver, the friend, and the boy Theo. And so, of course, they blame her. But Layla was trying to stop Theo because Theo was attacking these people. But Theo, on autopsy, now is presenting human. So everybody thinks Layla went rogue and was just murdering people. And the Saints don't like care for her anyway, especially the father. The father got it out for her. And so when Elise is like, I'm going to take over as the heir, the father's like, okay, well, you're going to bring me Layla Quinn's head. You need to kill her. And so Layla and Elise end up trying to work together to figure out what's happening with the Reapers in the city, and like why this boy, because he's missing his, like, I think he had like a tooth lodged in his throat or something, or he's like missing something to do with the fangs. And so they're trying to figure out like what is happening to where you're having these sort of multiple murders, and then everybody's presenting human, but it's obvious like that a Reaper has pretty much gone mad and killed these people. And so I enjoyed this book because of the backdrop of like Harlem Renaissance and like the Jazz Age, and lots of talk about the Cotton Club and sort of how Reapers have tried to integrate into society, and also trying to keep themselves safe, because like some of the Reapers work as dancers at the Cotton Club, and like there's a lot of things. There's gangsters and prohibition that also show up within the world, but it's also a bit of a love story because Layla and Elise, they were best friends and then sort of become enemies because of their shared trauma and their shared sort of experiences with Reapers on either side. And so but it comes out like they fall, they in love, child. And like this causes some issues, especially when it comes to these other external players like Tobias Saint, Elise's father, and Valeria, the oldest vampire, who's also like one of Layla's surrogate, like a surrogate parent to Layla, and sort of like has this sort of coven house or whatever for reapers in the city. And so I appreciated it because of like this sort of fresh way that, Haley Dennings talks about vampires. I love it because it's queer as well. But sometimes I got lost with some of the sort of world building, maybe because I was listening to it at like a 2.2 speed, but like the terminology and like how she creates what vampirism is, sometimes it was lost on me, like where things happen. I was like, oh, what? But overall, I really enjoyed the book. I thought like the murder mystery of it all, the sort of love story in it was cute. The tension between the various characters, especially Elise and Sterling, her guy best friend, and how it ends. Child, the intrigue was intriguing, okay? Because the sort of whole premise of what they were actually trying to do with the Reapers, I was like, ooh, child. But I could tell from a mile away that her daddy was the problem. That was a villain right there. That was a villain. And I was just like, oh, he got to go. He got to go right now. But yes, so overall, I would totally say read it. It was a very entertaining book, and I thought it was a really good take on Black vampires, especially within and around the time period of Sinners. So I really enjoyed it. Let me know. You read it? You into it? What are we thinking? Talk to me in the downstairs area. The downstairs is the comment section. As always, friends, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend about the channel, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.